Hello and welcome to another live taping of the Was It Good podcast. It's a beautiful Monday. That means everybody has the Monday blues.
There's no such thing as a beautiful Monday, ever.
Today was really cold.
Yeah.
I was shivering most of today.
I'm still shivering.
I worked out at the studio today and feel my hands.
Wow, you guys are holding hands.
Just touch it. Touch my hands.
I don't want to touch your hand. Well, did you really work out? You're not sweating. You're
Wait,
not out of
what?
breath.
No, I didn't work out. I worked out of.
Well, what did you expect?
Oh.
Now, if you want to be warm, you need to work out.
Yeah,
Bitch.
but I was working all day.
Okay.
Some of us have jobs.
Well, we have a comment here. It's very important. Lag and Cheese, welcome. Aaron, it's always good to see you. Where the hell did Ravi get a haircut? Ravi, where did you get a haircut?
Yeah, so this actually ties into kind of some of the news today. So
What?
Governor Newsom
Oh, God.
is opening up California. And I, knew that this was coming, and I decided that I would not go to any kind of barber shop. I'd actually ask my dad and have my father cut my hair because that is the thing everybody should be doing.
Was this his first time cutting hair?
No, he used to cut our hair as
when we were
kids. This is the first time Dad cut
Yeah, but
hair
as a
like a good
kid-
style.
Yeah, but as
Yeah, with a
kids,
good
it used to be like horrible bowl cuts. And,
Yeah, it was very simple.
Yeah,
like this, props to Dad.
Yeah, he did good.
He did a good job.
Yeah,
Like,
think
for,
about it.
you know.
They had 20 minutes to do 3 children. Of course, it was just going to be conveyor belt. Sit on the fucking chair. Let me cut your hair. Go take a shower. Go to bed.
I mean, that was not very often though. Like most of the time, we went to the barbers.
Yeah, because it was affordable in New Hampshire, I would say.
and even
It was like $7
and in
a
England
haircut.
too. Like we went to the barbers in England. I mean, it's like
I vaguely remember.
Yeah, I
going to the
remember
barber
it
shop
being
in
like a
England.
pub.
Yeah, they had like really
What?
nice
Like it was a-
green pub seats.
It was like a pub style barber shop.
It was like a converted pub for sure.
Yeah.
I think I remember going to the barber shop once in England.
Well,
because
you
I
left when you were
probably-
like 5.
That's true.
It looks like Dad's
we have a-
barbershop business.
We have a
is about to take
question
off.
also. Question: does your dad, our father, do white people hair?
The fact that you have a white person haircut suggests to me that it's a yes.
That's very true. This is definitely a quintessential. I'm not saying that.
But you know how you said before where you turned on the cameras that we're not very PC.
Yes,
I
this
see-
is.
I see
This
it
is.
now.
You see it?
I
Okay,
see it.
good.
I see it and I
Did
hear
you
it
all
and I feel it.
retweet the Was It Good?
I forgot.
I'm too good for that. Like I've reached the point in my life socially where like I'll sometimes retweet, but you have to pay me a fee.
Anyway, we're gonna start in just a second here. As always, if you are in the comments, feel free to jump in. We will read the comments and decide what you were trying to tell us.
What if you're not in the comments? Should you not jump in?
If you're not in the comments, then we have successfully figured out how to broadcast this podcast in AR/VR. And you are watching this in a virtual environment, and then you're therefore I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
What about RR? Real reality.
Oh boy.
When's that coming?
The VR drum what VR drum game is that?
I think it's called Donkey Kong. Con Battle.
Are you just full of false and fake news today?
You're fake news.
I
Welcome.
can't understand what you're saying.
I can't understand what you're saying.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and hit record on this.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, then you can download it off of
Nope. I'm good.
YouTube
I
and
took
Twitch
it off. I took it
and
off everything.
make all
We're
the
just
clips.
doing this for ourselves.
Really?
Lord.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Sometimes I feel like we are just doing this for ourselves.
Us and today, leg and cheese.
I feel like that this is the only thing stopping me from going completely insane.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like this is driving you to
Ragnarok?
insanity.
Wait, really? This is a game? Okay.
He says you talked about it.
He was probably drunk or high or both. Or,
I mean, if he's referring to like us talking about it in the group chat where there's 500 messages every 3 to 4 hours, then no, we didn't talk about it. You just put it out on the internet or in a text thread, and I just skipped over it. So we didn't really talk about it.
You remember how you said we need like more easy content for Twitch? Why don't we just fire up the capture of that
text thread?
That text thread
indubitably.
and just stream it for 2 hours, like once or twice a week.
You could do it for 12 hours
And
every
guess
day.
what? Even if we do that, most of the people at this table still won't read all 500 messages.
We still won't know what's happening.
But that would be hilarious.
I tune in every now and then just to get entertained. But
I'll randomly
that's-
tag you guys in the text thread.
like today. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what is the fuck is this?
I read
didn't
most
know you
of
could
the
tag
messages.
people. I didn't even know. Did you know you could tag people
Yes.
on text?
Wow,
Yes.
this was
This
introduced
is like
with the
like 5
new
years
what?
ago.
the new operating system on the iPhone.
Yeah.
It's not 5 years old.
It's maybe 10 years old, right, Rabbi?
It's like 20 years old.
Texting wasn't around.
It came out before texting did.
It was like the 70s. They had this idea.
Tagging people?
Yeah, Bill
Sure.
Gates. Bill Gates is like his middle name's Tag. I don't know if you knew that.
Anyway, we're going to start the podcast right now
Yeah, we've been recording for
with an intro that was written by Krishna, read by me. You know, I should start wearing my glasses. Hold on, let me just get closer here. Gotta get really close. Maybe, hey, I'm going to read it like this. No, I'm kidding. Hold on, I have something to say.
We're burning through
the
tape.
the thought, okay.
Wow.
Do you like biomechs that beat the shit out of each other? Do you like giants that eat people and gain powers? Do you like character development followed by nonstop blood and gore? Well, we've got the show for you. It's Attack on Titan, and that's what we're reviewing today. We are Was It Good? I'm your host, Ravi, and I'm joined by my two brothers, Christian and Arjuna. Let's not waste any time because there's a lot to discuss.
Oh, wow. That's very to the point today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually wrote this intro in my head.
What?
And then used the Force to inception it into Krishna's brain, who then typed it out.
That's impressive. I feel violated. So please never do that again.
We have a request from our commenter, Lag and Cheese. He demands that Ravi dance.
That's not how that
I
works.
kind of like that idea.
I think you should dance. Dance for the people.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do the Attack on Titan dance.
Real quick for our listeners there, what we're referring to, of course, is we are live streaming these pods on Twitch, which you can find at twitch.tv/wasitgood. It's done every Monday and Friday. Wow, I sound like every other podcast intro where you're selling something. I feel dirty now.
Yeah, and actually, this weekend we will have a special Twitch stream that is dedicated to our users. We're trying to raise $10,000 for our own pockets because we like money. So give it to us.
Anyway,
now.
we're talking Attack on Titan, specifically the final season 4, episode 7. Guys, I'm gonna start it off really quick. Hot take.
Oh, no.
I felt bad for the bad guys.
Yeah.
They were fucked.
Yes.
Are they the bad guys though? Maybe they're
I don't
just
know.
the guys being attacked by other guys.
I don't know anymore, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about this show is they've really blurred the lines between good and evil.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because I'm a very kind of black and white individual.
No,
much
you're
like
brown.
much like Christian's T-shirt, which is a tuxedo thing.
Yeah.
He's very black and white.
But you always root for the bad guys.
Shh. We don't talk about that in public.
So I hear what you're saying, and I think Ravi, you said though a few weeks ago, you're like, I would love it if this show makes Eren the bad guy,
yes,
as in the main bad guy,
Mhm.
where he becomes so OP.
Mhm.
This is before. This is before. This is like 3 weeks ago, by the way. Well, we
2
didn't
weeks.
Even,
it was 2 weeks. It was
Was it
it
2
was
weeks?
2 episodes ago. Yes.
oh,
2
oh,
weeks
right.
Yeah. It was the episode
weeks.
when we realized who Eren is.
Oh, Kruger.
Kruger. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you said it would be really cool if they make him the main bad guy, and well, lo and behold, it really does feel like that's the way they're going because he is OP as fuck,
And
overpowered for all you noobs.
Right. And I thought in order to get to that kind of position where he is kind of the main bad guy, there would be a little bit more
Yes.
kind of build up. What this
More
episode
resistance?
what this episode did, it follows obviously after the events of episode 6, where we first
Episode 7 takes place after episode 6?
what I mean is the actual events of episode 6 is immediately after that. We obviously in episode 6 see the Warhammer Titan for the very, very first time. Eren realizes, in order to get this power, he's got to get the little encased shell piece. And, this episode was just filled with nonstop violence, and the Paradise folks really showing that they know a lot more than the folks on the Eldians in what Marlians and all of them. They know a lot more. They're more organized. They're just owning it.
To me, what that means, the direct implication of that is that they've given themselves over completely to Armin's brain. So he's calling, this seems like, from a couple of lines that we got between him and Hanji, that this is his plan. He drew it up from the ground up, and he channeled his Erwin, as Hanji said, it's like, what's gone into you? Gone so reckless, and and for whatever reason, they're going all in with this plan, and it's not like. You expect in like these battles there to be some like give and take, right? Like one side takes the upper hand, and then the other side.
You had that for about a minute.
Yeah, it was less than
Literally a minute.
It was about 18 seconds. I counted 18 seconds. Marley got an upper hand, and then the other 22 minutes, it was total domination by Paradise.
Paradise?
That's how they said it in the show.
Paradise or Paradise for the
Is it
American
what?
version.
If it was Paradise, okay, there would be an E at the end.
Paradise.
But there's no E at the end, so it's just Paradise.
So what would the people be called? The Paradisians?
Paradisians,
The
yeah.
devils.
The devils?
Kind of like Parisians. Oh, yeah.
The devils.
The devil scum.
The Eldian devils. Is what they call them.
So let's see. We're introduced, obviously, in episode 6 to the final Titan, the Warhammer Titan. And then in episode 7, it gets turned into a pile of blood that another Titan, the attack Titan, Aaron's Titan, just kind of drinks, essentially, using the Jaw Titan to break the protective crystal. Couple of questions here.
Yeah.
Now, I remember from early days of Attack on Titan that in order for a Titan, like a dumb Titan or even one of the founding Titans, to gain another Titan's power, specifically they need the spinal fluid, right, of the individual. Obviously,
Hence eating it.
so,
eating them.
but by turning, hence eating them. But by turning the Warhammer Titan into just blood and goo, is he still getting the power? Like, do we think Aaron actually has the Warhammer Titan power at this point, or did they kind of completely fuck it up?
I think he does because it shows a shot of his eyes kind of changing, and so you would assume he's connecting to Ymir's, 9 tentacle Titan powers because now he has like 3 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them.
He has 3 of them.
He has
founding, attack,
and
war.
war now. Yep. So
No, he has 4. He also has the hardening power. Remember,
That's the power, though. He doesn't take the full.
it's only partial.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
he
but
got
he's
like
still-
a partial, reconstructive.
but he
vision.
still has. That's still a power that is outside of the 3 Titans that he's
so he's like
ingested fully.
3.3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
roughly.
I like
Yeah,
that. I like
that's a
that,
good
yeah.
way to say it. So obviously he's got that. Jaw Titan is lost his, or is about to be destroyed, about to be eaten.
But then our good friend Reiner woke up and looks a little disheveled.
Yeah.
Do we? So let's talk about it. Obviously the end scene, or the end thing that we see is the Armor Titan rising. It looks disheveled. My theory is that he's dying. Obviously, big time.
Yeah.
Is this? Do you think this is it for him? I want to hear bold predictions specifically around Armor Titan and what's going to happen in episode 8.
He's gonna kill Armin. I mean, he's
Aaron?
gonna kill Aaron.
Wait, that's your prediction?
Reiner?
I mean, it's a bold prediction.
That's
You said
very-
go
that's quite
bold.
That's true.
I am the chaos on this podcast.
Yeah.
How do
He
you?
will- he will kill Aaron, and then he will cross over shows and kill Ahsoka. Back in the end of season 2
What?
of Mando.
How do you think it would happen then if he's going to end up killing? Aaron?
Yeah. How?
Well, I think Christian made a good point, right? It's like these battles you get give and takes on the battle, and it seems like it's a lot of the Eldians kind of winning right now. So I do think something's going to happen. Obviously, the Beast.
Yeah. Her name's Gabby.
You have the wild card
She's about to
Gabby,
fuck shit up.
who's obviously very crazy with
She's
a rifle.
She's like young Aaron.
She's very much Aaron.
Yeah, young Aaron.
And so she's going to potentially do something. The Beast Titan, and I'm sure we'll get to this discussion later, has kind of gone up in a puff of smoke with Levi.
Yeah, we have questions.
We have questions there. Maybe he shows up and saves the day.
Well,
like
that's
he
the question.
often does.
We don't have to wait till I would just talk about it
Sure.
right now. But the way, with the Beast Titan, we see Levi, waiting patiently in the dark, and then all of a sudden, you see the Beast Titan's back of his neck just go with a whole bunch of blood, and then the next thing you see is Levi with a homemade bomb.
And he blows
And then the next thing you see is an
explosion.
aerial shot, and there's an explosion. So did Levi decide, you know what, fuck it all?
I
If
think
so-
he's
taking-
practicing his
just-
magic.
If so,
Yep.
if he is dead there, I say literally,
Yeah.
and I'm prone to hyperbole a lot. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this. Literally the most anticlimactic death for a badass character in
There's-
any show ever.
There's no way he's dead.
Yeah,
There's no
that
way.
can't be.
He
There's
probably
no-
he had to have used the gear and just
gear
swung
to-
away.
He's
Yeah.
magic.
absolutely.
He's practicing his magic tricks. That's why he had the little stopwatch, because he likes to use the old school type of tech.
Yeah, what was he doing there?
I think it seems like this. It seems like Armin's plan
the
was
timing
very
of it.
much
I
on
see.
about timing.
Yeah,
And it
that
almost
sense.
makes me feel like that there's a traitor with the Marley.
Paradise.
No, there's a bunch. I think there's a
I
whole
think there's a
bunch.
few, right?
Yeah.
Because it seems like.
But remember,
this
Tiber,
plan
they knew about it. They
Say
knew about it. So because we rewatched the episode last week,
Yeah.
there's a conversation between McGrath
Right.
and Tiber,
Yeah.
and they talk about how they were going to use the situation
Kruger,
to
right.
draw out the traitors in their own ranks
Right.
who have been helping Paradise.
I almost wonder if the Beast Titan is a traitor.
Yeah.
Right? It almost feels like.
Well, what did
that
Zeke?
was-
What did Zeke say when? So the Beast Titan comes up and sees the Attack Titan. He says something very, very specific.
you're
he
not my
says,
enemy.
"You're not my enemy," right?
And
Because remember,
he said
Zeke-
that's somebody else.
He said, "Yeah." He basically was
said
like,
Levi is.
Levi is the enemy." So he let the Attack Titan do its business and whatever, regardless of the fact that the Attack Titan is taking everything. So I do kind of agree with Arjuna. It's very possible Zeke has realized his mistakes.
He also,
There's
he
at
also
least
goes
two-
missing.
There's at least two other instances where and that's one of them.
He goes missing, and then he shows up to this battle late.
yeah.
But we did. So it's only a couple. It seems like it's very quick though, right? So he goes missing. It's probably a couple minutes at the most before he makes his appearance. But still, he went somewhere. He clearly separates from the rest
Yep.
and goes somewhere and does something. The other thing as well is, and I keep coming back to this, and that's why the first 4 episodes were so important, is that he has weird lines and weird conversations with other Eldian Marlians.
His secret.
What is his secret? Why does he phrase things certain way? Like, we're safe from prying eyes, ears in this room,
Yep.
right? Implying that they have he has perhaps another room where he talks to people that cannot be overheard by the Marlians who are spying on them to make sure that they follow orders. I think Zeke is a good candidate to be
The insider.
the main
The
insight
inside
because it would also parallel when we think about flashbacks to Aaron's father, Grisha. There's a guy on the inside who's Eldian,
That's right.
who's the Attack Titan,
That's right.
and who's feeding
Whose name was
who's-
Kruger. That was Kruger.
His name was Kruger.
Yeah.
You're right. And he's giving Grisha and the insurrectionists or the restorationists their information. So it would parallel nicely if Zeke is sort of taking on that role.
Man, that scene in season 3 is badass when he reveals that he's the Attack Titan. He tosses his hat and he just fucking cuts his hand, and then he just
Destroys
he
all
just
the
destroys
Marlians.
things.
And then he
It's pretty
goes, "Save
sweet.
Armin, save Makassar." And
Who
Grisha's
are
like,
they?
Who the fuck are they?
is
He's
that?
like,
And then you're
he's like, I
"Time
don't
travel?"
know. Yeah, I was like, what?
Question:
the fuck?
when the Beast Titan appears at the battlefield,
Yeah.
does he take out any of the scouts? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, he's throwing the rocks.
Yeah.
He's throwing the
He
rocks.
does.
But do we
Killing
actually
people.
see any of them actually die because of that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he throws rocks, and there's a few of them. I think the first time you see guys in the sky and they get hit is by rocks, and they're
It's from Beastie.
gone. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I also think, going back to my crazy bold prediction of Reiner dying, I think a more realistic one is
You said Aaron was going to die.
Oh, that's right. Aaron being killed by Reiner.
There we
You're
go.
right. That's my crazy one. But my more realistic bold prediction would be, in terms of talking about traitors and people switching sides. Reiner seems like, you obviously have the Zeppelin and the blip, so you feel like people are going to escape potentially out at the end of this arc, or however long it may be, maybe in episode 8, right? If they're splitting it up 8 and 8, I feel like Reiner's going to go with them and potentially switch sides here. Especially we've seen a lot of him, the regret, the trying to convince himself that they were the devils and whatever, the very tearful kill me revelation he had to Aaron down in the cellar. It just feels like he's almost primed to potentially switch sides here.
That's a good prediction. I personally think it's going the way where Aaron's going to get 4 powers, 5 powers, and it's going to be everyone versus him. It's going to be like the remaining Titans. Mikasa and Armin have already sort of shown regret for the way things have gone in this 10-minute battle so far, in terms of collateral damage. And we already know we've seen the young warriors, who absolutely are what they hate him.
Yeah,
we're talking about Puck, Peck, Falco, Gabby. They
Does
all
Falco
right now.
hate him though?
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't think
Falco's probably the one who's more like Armin, maybe. Like, he just doesn't want to see his people die, and he's not really sure what to believe, perhaps.
I think he sees both sides a little bit more versus like Gabby,
because he was
who's
questioning.
Like, I'll kill everyone.
He's been questioning the whole Eldian subjugation under Marley since episode 1 of the season. So that makes sense.
Which means he's the most likely to next become a Titan.
Why?
Because
Just
it's
that's
always the unwilling.
usually-
It's
yeah.
just the unwilling ones.
Yeah.
It's always like Armin. You never thought he would become a Titan, and then he's
He got it
a
late.
warhead.
Armin's only been the Colossal for 5 episodes.
I wish they had
7
killed
episodes.
him.
I know you do.
Back to the Beast Titan. The other reason the other thinking here as to why the Beast Titan might be the insider, right, is that explosion and everything there. I think that's being done for show, potentially to get Zeke out of there, fake his death, right?
It is very showy, especially because there was the timing element.
You also have to remember, like,
So you're saying Levi's getting him out?
I think so, because remember Levi, when the Armor Titan, the Colossal Titan showed up, at the big battle towards the end of season 3, the goal was to incapacitate them essentially so that somebody could eat the Titan and get the power. Levi is still very aware that that is a big thing that they need to do. I think everybody's aware of that. Like, you wouldn't want to just have the Beast Titan power disappear. You want to get it for your side, essentially, because it's a huge asset, right? So it wouldn't make sense that he would just go and blow Zeke up willy-nilly without trying to get that power. So I think it's being done for show to get him out of there, take them back to wherever they're going. Because the other thing that's really interesting, obviously, with the Colossal Titan showing up and the Marlians, majority of their fleet was in that harbor, and that fleet is gone now, right?
Yeah.
This is a huge, devastating blow. Granted, it sounded like the Tibers. The Tibers. The plan there was to unite the entire world against. Obviously, one army devastated, that's bad. But if you have the entire planet against Paradise, then obviously that's a much larger force.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of something that I've been thinking about with this show? Right, it's very intentional about like what characters it keeps around, what their arcs are, et cetera, et cetera. And if you think about the Survey Corps, there's been. You obviously have the main characters like Mikasa and Armin and Eren, like they have their little friend group. But then you have the secondary friends that have all lived, the Connie, Jean, and Sasha of the world. And I only bring this up because now I'm thinking about it, right? And you have all these Titans on the battlefield. Do we think that these characters have been kept to inherit Titan powers potentially in the show? Like, is one of them going to become the Jaw Titan? Is one of them going to become the Cart Titan? Is that a potential thing we see, happening?
I don't think it's going to happen that way. Like, I don't think this battle is going to end and, the Paradise folk get all the Titan powers.
Yeah, because that sounds like game over.
Yeah, for a lot of people. I think they've been kept around, I think they've been kept around for impactful death, right? Like, I think Connie is going to go, and it's going to go in a way that's going to hurt because of who the character is. I don't think necessarily they're being kept around, to inherit powers or kind of level up, if you will. They're there to kind of act as that emotional carrier or whatever for us. For our main characters. Because there's also the possibility, if we go back to my dream/scary scenario where Eren is the bad guy, how horrific would it be if Eren's like, well, you know what? You're all not letting me do what I want to do. I'm going to kill all the secondary tier characters. Like, that in itself is an emotional gut punch, right? So I think unfortunately, I think they're being kept around to like die and cause us emotional distress in some way.
That sucks because they've been there since the very beginning.
Yeah,
or near the beginning.
Yeah.
So
but it doesn't mean, and that doesn't mean necessarily all of them are going to go.
Yeah.
I would imagine some of them are going to make it out to whatever the end of the series is. Maybe there's a flash forward, and some of them are married and have kids, and everything's happy, or they'll do.
Doubtful. There's no way there's any type of happy ending to the show. Like, I can't see any. If that happens, I feel like I would be pissed off because
have you finished Blood Orphans, the Gundam show?
I have not yet. No.
Oh, okay. That show It's not really a spoiler. It has a happy ending, but it doesn't have a happy ending, and it hits upon both areas like perfectly.
Yeah.
So I think it is doable. It's definitely doable. I don't think it's going to be one way or the other where it's everything is happy-go-lucky, and I don't think it's going to be everything is terrible.
Right.
I think it's going to figure out that anime is done all like anime for the most part. Most of the big shows that do a really good job of kind of being somewhat realistic in terms of this is what the ending is going to be.
I would say anime is more than any other like media does a really good job of nailing the endings.
Yeah.
Like I think there's more top tier animes that have great endings than not. Normally.
Yeah. I've got 2 more episodes of Full Metal.
Are you excited?
You have only 2 episodes left? Wow.
So I'll either confirm or deny
That's
your
considered one of the
assertion.
better finales out there.
If it's the best anime ever, it better be the best ever. And that's what I want for my last 2 episodes.
Everyone knows the best anime ending is Yu Yu Hakusho.
I actually don't remember how that ended.
I never watched it.
I'm pretty
I don't
sure,
know.
because he's a detective in hell, right? So he
crosses over between the two.
he's dead in the first few seasons, I
Right.
think, and then he's revived, and then he dies again, and then
So wait, which one came first, Yu Yu Hakusho or Constantine?
I mean probably Constantine in the comics.
I guess, yeah. Yes, that's Attack on Titan. Any last thoughts here before we go around the horn?
Which of the other? So now that the Warhammer Titan's dead, do we think in this battle any of the other Titans will die, get
Yes.
their powers absorbed?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think Jaw's gonna die, and I think Pekka gonna die. Not right now, but they're going to die, and I think young warriors will inherit
I
those
mean,
powers.
Peck looks pretty dead.
She's not. She
She's
can't
not
heal.
fully dead, but she's like looking dead.
And they said she can't heal fast enough to heal the wounds. That's how bad they are. So I think she's a goner.
I mean, she got wrecked.
And I think someone's taking that power. And I think same thing with Jaw. I don't know I think Reiner might save Jaw from getting eaten, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to save Jaw from or save Puck, who is Jaw.
here's my crazy bold prediction. Reiner eats Jaw.
There you go. Wow,
Ooh.
So it's going to be a situation where it's either Eren gets Jaw, and obviously he doesn't want Eren to get Jaw, so he's going to take Jaw for himself in order to keep it out of the hands of whomever.
that's
Marley.
complicated.
Very complicated. How does that work exactly? If you go from 9 Titans and only 3 people have the power, well, once they're dead, the powers go back out into the world, right?
I believe.
And then someone
it's
it's inherited or whatever.
or something.
You know what? We don't know. We're about to find out.
Yeah. Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, I'm enjoying the fact that this show has literally gone from 0 to 1 billion.
We knew it was going to happen. Like we
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
Well,
Real
like
quick-
you don't have 3 seasons of nonstop action and then not have it.
Well, one thing I did want to talk about. So this was the first time we saw Armin
Yeah.
become the Colossal Titan, and he had obviously a very sad reaction when he came out of the Titan, just seeing the destruction all around.
Very
him.
Armin reaction.
Yeah. What did we think of that? What do we think of finally seeing this Titan and having that whole little scene? How do we think that's going to come back into play? Here?
I had one issue with that sequence when he exits the Colossal Titan.
Yeah, the Colossal's too buff.
No, the Colossal Titan is very tall, right? It's multiple stories tall. When he exits
Way
out of the navel of the Colossal Titan, he shoots his gear up in the air like psh, as if he was hitting something.
He's hitting the
He's
blip.
hitting the blip.
He must be hitting the blimp.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to
Because remember, the next time we see him, he's on there.
Right.
Okay,
And
good.
but we don't know that he's hitting that.
Yeah.
So when I first saw that, I was like, "Wait, did they fuck up? Like, what happened?
That
Did
would,
they-
that would
That would've
piss
been
you.
funny.
That would piss
Yeah.
you off. if
No,
you
but
caught that. It's
I
gotta be
feel like
blood.
anime, especially anime that's so directly taken from the manga, like they do a really specific job of making sure each shot makes sense because
details.
there's a lot of details, there's a lot of hidden stuff in each frame that's important to incorporate into there. So that would have been a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked that we finally saw Colossal. He had all the power that we've come to expect from the Colossal. I think it's interesting that Armin's the one who gets to wield the nuke. And that's what we were calling it. It's basically a giant nuke.
Yeah.
It's like Endgame. It's your nuclear option.
It's a nuke, but without the fallout.
No, it's got tons of fallout. What do you mean?
Well, remember, if a nuke goes off, there's like the nuclear winter. There's like big climate changes. When this goes, it's just pure energy, and then it's kind of done.
Sure.
For more on our talk about nuclear reactions, check out our Chernobyl podcast from like a year plus ago.
We
2 years ago?
should get a physicist to talk about
the
the colossal titan in terms of it transforming in comparison to like an actual nuke going off in a city.
Should we get our guest from our Chernobyl podcast?
We should try. I'm all for it. That'd be interesting.
That would be, I mean, there would be some real life science to some anime science. Watch, they're like super accurate. Like it's like down, they got it down to a T.
Well, I mean, the ocean, for example, it evaporated when he turned into the
makes sense.
colossal. So yeah, they have some science there,
or something. They have something.
They have something.
Yeah.
Maybelline.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
So could you imagine like you have this amazing power, and you can transform this gigantic, multi-story, massive thing, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna spend most of my time trying to find makeup because I just don't like how I look when I'm in this form.
Wow.
Juna, was Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 7 bad?
No, it was not bad. It was great. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, okay. Concise. I like it.
Wasn't lying about that's all he has to say.
Krishna. Was it good?
It was good. I loved it.
But what was good?
But what was good? The action. The action was nonstop. It was what we've been waiting for. It was not, it was everything we wanted and more.
This is the greatest anime episode I've ever seen.
It's up there. It's definitely up there. Ravi, was this episode of Attack on Titan Season 3 good?
It was wonderful. It was a very good show. Very family friendly. Recommend it for all you new parents out there.
We did watch it with the family. Like, it was a family, technically, show.
Well, they've seen the last few episodes now. We should really figure out. The fact is that their complaints every week when we put it on get less and less, which makes me feel like they're getting more and more into it.
Actually, I was on the Attack on Titan subreddit, and an individual posted their father who would consistently make fun of the anime opening the theme song, being like, "Oh, you're watching that stupid show." And then this week they posted a video of the father like super into it, just like us, like screaming at the TV, losing their fucking marbles. So I don't know. I think the show is very interesting. Like when I first heard about it, like I had known that there was a show about creatures eating humans. I was like, it doesn't sound like that's my cup of tea. And then you get into it and you're like, this is fucking something else.
Agreed. I definitely agree. Like, I would not have watched the show if it had not been recommended by you guys. Because I'd heard about the show before. I was like, yeah, this isn't, it doesn't seem like I'm not into this type of thing. But then when you watch just a few episodes and you're like, I'm into this.
So I found it. I was like scrolling through Netflix. This is years ago now, obviously. And it was only one season out at that point.
Yep.
And I was scrolling, and I'm scrolling. I'm like, I'm looking in the mood for anime, and I come across this thing. I'm like, there's no way this is good. And I kept scrolling, but then I kept going back, and I'm like, and I read the description. I'm like, giants eating humans. I'm like, they're naked. That's weird. Scroll back. And I'm like, but that sounds like it could be kind of interesting.
Yep.
The first episode went on. I'm like, this is fucking nuts.
I mean, the first
what did
season,
I sign up for?
I mean, here's the crazy part, right? Season 1 came out in 2013.
Yeah.
And then there was a 4-year gap between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
And I remember season 1 because 2013 was when I was a senior in college. I remember my roommates were watching it.
Oh God!
And that's that first season, and I just I'd never paid enough attention to it at the time to get into it, but it's crazy.
It's fucking insane. It's insane. Oh man, it's so good.
Do you think, real quick, before we move into Was It News, so I don't know if you guys remember, in the Western anime community, when Death Note kind of made its way over here, there was a big kind of like, everyone was into this idea of Death Note, cosplayers, fan fiction, novel, like the whole shebang, like everybody was all for it. Do you think Attack on Titan is at the same level that Death Note was, or do you think it's larger and more people are into it?
It's a really good question. We most of our interactions with the greater anime community on a personal level happens at cons. Mm-hmm. And something like Death Note or My Hero Academia or Dragon Ball, those are really easy to cosplay.
Right.
And obviously, Attack on Titan you can cosplay pretty easily as well. You can just get some ODM gear with the green cloak. You can do it. We've seen it. We know people who've done it. That being said, just from those little interactions, it seems like it does have a pretty big following, but to me, it doesn't seem like it's as big as some of those other ones, but it does seem more intense. It does seem like people who love it, love it.
I also feel like there's more of a audience for it too. Like I think there are more people I've seen, at least in my interactions, who are not anime fans or not your typical anime viewers, who really like the show, who've heard of it, who watch it, who enjoy it.
That's interesting.
And I think that is interesting. I think it's a really good show. It's not just a really good anime. And I think like people who like TV or people who just like things to watch really get into it too. Just by watching a few episodes. And I think you could literally pick any few episodes from any season and be like, I'm in. Like, I really like this show, you know?
What would be the nuttiest arc to throw a total noob into for Attack on Titan? Where would you drop someone in just to be like, I want to record their reaction?
First episode. No, seriously, the first episode is just so kind of out there in terms of, as a Western audience, to like to see anime, for your first time, or like to try and get into something. First and second episode is kind of like that crazy, like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah. What's going on? We have a good question here. So someone who's a total noob to anime, what is a good show for them to ease them in, or to get them interested, or to see what it's all about?
I would say, like, for me personally, I associate anime with a lot of fantasy and science fiction. Gundam, big ass robots and mechs, Dragon Ball Z, that type of stuff. So my personal taste in anime leans more to like the sci-fi side of things. But the beautiful thing with anime is it hits so many different genres: comedy, rom-coms, horror, action, supernatural, romance, drama, like
teen stuff.
Yeah. So what I would suggest with like anime is, if you want to kind of embrace and like get into this kind of genre of storytelling, I would figure out like what is the genre that you like the most. Like if you're big into rom-coms, there's so many different anime rom-coms. There's a ton of
school romance.
Yeah.
It's a whole subgenre of anime.
Superheroes is a huge one.
Yeah.
I would say like My Hero Academia is probably like, of the ones that are currently on, it's the most accessible and easiest to get into.
Yeah. Because it's got everything.
It's got everything. It's not overly complicated where like if you don't follow exactly what's going on, you're going to be lost. It's very colorful.
Funny.
It's fun, right? It's funny. It's a good one.
Now, if you want to get into anime and you just want a show, like just a whatever show, like just something random, I would suggest Death Note.
Yeah.
And Death Note is shocking, but not to the level of like an Attack on Titan, where it's like shocking / uncomfortable. Death Note is still kind of grounded in some kind of, everyday kind of dramatic shows that you're probably familiar with in like Western.
Yeah,
Western
it's
world.
like a quieter action or quieter.
It's almost like it's based, like if you remove the supernatural elements, it's basically a cop drama or like a detective show.
Cops.
Yeah, it's a great mystery. It's a great mystery.
Very good mystery.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh. No.
Digimon.
Yu-Gi-Oh, in Japan was very, very more like compared to what Yu-Gi-Oh is here in the West. It
was nothing over there.
It is super. It's super more violent, more cringy, like very not what you would put on like your Saturday morning cartoons for your kids.
So that's how much editing they did for it?
Yeah, they did a lot of changing, but it was more like subtle type things.
I think the best anime you can get into is Power Rangers.
It's not anime.
It's a live action anime.
It's not. No.
I think in order for something to be anime, it has to be animated.
Why?
So.
Why do you have to put everything in a box?
Anyway, let's get into some Was It News. Speaking about things that like to be in boxes, Harry Potter, the series and show and entire subculture that I personally just do not understand.
Well,
people like
there's
magic.
nothing to understand. Yeah, it's just people like it. That's all there is to
people
understand.
are like, I'm a wizard, bitch.
Yeah. The most fascinating part is that it's still so popular after so many years, and popular enough where it's getting a show.
I feel like it is waning in popularity because the reason I say that,
you don't go on Instagram enough.
No, the reason I say I think it's waning in popularity is I think you look at something like Fantastic Beasts, those movies are declining, and I think interest is falling. I think the news around JK over the last year certainly has led to a decline. And there's also been no new material, really, right? After the books, okay, you had The Cursed Child, which was like a play, and that was a cool thing, I guess. And you've had a couple of these Fantastic Beasts movie, but you haven't had any major additions to what you had. So now it's just kind of becoming an old franchise. And I feel like
It's like Lord of the Rings.
if you read if you look at our outline and you read the Hollywood Reporter article, it's actually really funny because it's just basically, HBO Max is doing a show. They do not know what it will be about. There is no writer or creator attached to it. There are no stars attached to it. They don't know when it's going to come out. They don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but it's going to be something. So essentially, an exec's like, hey,
Harry Potter.
you guys want to make Harry Potter for HBO Max? Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
And that's where they're at right now in the creative
Well,
timeline.
let's be honest here. That HBO Max is not the only digital
Yeah, of
content provider or whatever that needs to fill programming holes, right?
Sure.
With Disney Plus, I can't imagine all those Star Wars and Marvel shows had solid concrete plans in place.
Yeah, you can tell from their titles.
Yeah.
Which are just character names.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wait, what?
I think it makes sense. I mean, they wanted to create some buzz around this. I mean, this news came out this morning. It was in the top 10 trending for most of today. Granted, it's kind of a slow news cycle in general, being post-election. No big sports currently.
Well, I mean, championship reaction.
But that, again, that kind of...
Gavin Newsom.
Newsom was trending, yeah.
Oh, Robin Hood.
I guess the big question I have for you guys is, if HBO Max does come out with this magical Harry Potter TV show, spin-off thing, whatever, are you guys going to take the time to look into it week over week, or are you just going to wait till it's done and let the reviews and the hype decide it for you?
I propose we watch 2 episodes. We review the 2 episodes, but Dad has to be on the show. Because Dad is actually the biggest Harry Potter fan
He's a
actually know.
Potterhead.
He is a Potterhead. Well, the movies specifically.
He watches them religiously.
Does he really?
It's his second favorite franchise after the single Commando.
No, he loves Lord of the Rings. He absolutely loves Lord of the Rings.
But he can watch Harry Potter at any time.
I think he'll watch Lord of the Rings anytime too. I remember many movie nights where he's like, "Let's watch Return of the King." And we're like, "Dad, that's like a 4-hour movie."
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, it's fine."
And Dad, you're gonna sleep for 3.5 hours. On it.
But he's like, "It's fine." I'll say this: it depends on what the show is, right? Because they have no idea what the show's gonna be. If it's a remaking of Harry Potter, I think I'm probably out on that one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it a try, but I don't think I'd be, super excited about it. If it's something that's kind of set in the Harry Potter world, but it's different characters.
What if it's called Hogwarts?
I mean, that might be interesting. I think Hogwarts is interesting, but I think just exploring the world of Harry Potter, it is a rich world.
What if it was
would be
about the 4 founding members?
That'd be cool. I'd be
Salazar
down for
Slytherin.
that. Yeah, I'd be down to watch
Hillary Clinton Hufflepuff.
Wait, what? That's not.
I forget her first name.
Hufflepuff. I can't imagine that they would do a remake of the movies.
It's been 20 years.
It has been 20 since the first one, sure.
They're gonna do it. Why not?
I would imagine they would build upon their universe because they need to. They want to sell new toys, new characters,
New comics.
new ride attractions for Universal.
There's also a video game coming out.
There is.
Which is set in the early 20th century.
Something like that.
So it takes place
it's an open world, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be open world, and it's all about just going through Hogwarts, all
Nice.
7 years and learning magic and being a badass. So
Do I get to fight Nagini in year 2?
Nigiri,
no?
like sushi?
Yeah.
No, Nagini, the snake.
Snake.
See, I don't remember anything Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You read the first 3 books?
4 books, and then after the 4th one, I was like, why am I wasting my time? They're making movies. I'll just wait for the movies.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then Rabbi hasn't read a book since.
Yeah, that was the last book he ever read.
No, I'm reading Star Wars High Republic currently.
No, you're not. You're listening to it on audiobook.
No, I've been reading it.
I don't know if I should trust him.
And we are going to be reviewing that here on this podcast.
I tried the audiobook while on the treadmill, and the problem with that is I'm trying to focus on running and walking. But listening to an audiobook,
Yeah.
I can't focus on what they're saying.
Right.
So I'm like, it just doesn't work for
I
me.
don't like audiobooks. Maybe I'm very much in the minority on that, but
No, you're not.
I like.
You're
No,
not.
there are a lot of people that like audiobooks.
Yeah, but I think most people Or I think the majority are picking podcasts over audiobooks in terms of their listening. If they're
See, I feel like listening to a podcast
Yeah.
or an audiobook while driving, I feel is super dangerous because you're probably focusing more on the podcast or the audiobook
then you're on the road.
than on the road. Music is okay because it just kind of it's there and just whatever, right? You're not sitting there and being like, yeah, these lyrics, they can mean.
What do they mean?
Yeah. So to me,
That's why when I drive, I just watch a movie.
Jesus.
Oh,
I just put on movies that are familiar, right? So I can pay attention, but I can also pay somewhat attention to the road.
oh wow, yeah. What's your go-to? Don't answer that.
Dark Knight.
Rachel.
Speaking of Dark Knight, this next piece of news has nothing to do with it. Scarlet Witch is going to be in Spider-Man 3, the movie that is basically the next Avengers film at this point.
Maybe.
What do you mean?
Maybe.
What do you mean? Maybe?
If you read the thing, it said Scarlet Witch in Spider-Man 3, question mark.
Oh no! So it's not even news.
So she was asked in an interview if she would be in It's a slow day, okay?
Yeah.
If she would be.
I'm sorry, Arjuna,
We're
real
just
quick.
making up news.
Arjuna, is the next piece of news article going to be the Vision's cape was actually using the wrong green?
Actually, speaking of that,
Yes.
a show that is $255 million. There's a shot where Vision is in his thing, and
His
you
arm.
can see through his arm. It's skin colored and not red, like Vision's.
So maybe he's mid-transformation. Maybe
No,
maybe it was
if you
a
go back
create-
during the episode, he was full. Supposed to be.
So you're saying
His
that-
hands were red.
You're
His face
saying-
was red, but this part right here
You're
was.
saying they pulled a Game of Thrones / Mandalorian?
Yes,
Slasher, was it good?
but not.
See, we
An
have the
Attack on
water
Titan.
bottle on the table. That's not supposed to be
It
there.
is. I put it there every week, and no one finds it. Arjuna, I wanted to play a game where we hide something on the set, and whoever finds it gets a prize.
I hit something on the set.
Anyway, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man 3, if it does happen, is it actually going to surprise anybody?
No, I think it'd be more surprising if she's not in it, honestly.
I would be
Specifically
surprised.
with how connected this WandaVision show is supposed to be for the next phase of
it is.
it's supposed to be so Paul Bettany tweeted out, I think today or last night, that episode 4 is mind blowing.
Oh my God! That's during the fucking press day. There's gonna be a surprise actor. That's the mind blowing.
I know who the surprise actor
And
is,
then
by
a
the way.
lot of people kind of jumped on from that tweet and then gave their their theories about how this is all connecting and Doctor Strange is supposed to show up. This is supposed to be a big kickoff for whatever Phase 4 of the MCU is supposed to be.
I have a theory.
Or it's supposed to be
I know
connected.
who
I don't know.
The surprise character's gonna be.
Who is it?
It's
actually
it's just a theory.
Okay,
no,
so-
sure. We're on the
It's
pod.
Paul Rudd. It's Ant-Man. They're gonna send in Ant-Man
bullshit.
to bail out because he can go between different shit when he gets really small.
That's true.
So he's gonna do it. It's gonna be Ant-Man. And
And-
Paul Rudd's
and-
gonna come in there with comedic.
There is
timing.
there is a character from Ant-Man.
That's my
in there.
guess.
There is a character from Ant-Man. That's Jimmy Woo's character. The Jimmy Woo character
And you think that's coincidence?
was part of Ant-Man. The
You
Ant-Man
do
franchise.
you think that's coinkydink?
Yes,
Oh,
I do. I have a theory as well.
Let's hear it.
Who?
I believe they're setting up. This is an origin story for Scarlet Witch, the villain, for this early part of Phase 4.
Oh, you mean Scarlet Witch being the main villain?
Yeah, like she's being set up as this
Oh, I like that.
overarching villain that's going to be in Spider-Verse and Doctor Strange.
If they do that, if they do it right, that would be amazing.
Look, Marvel.
I don't think
What's
they
been
would,
the
though.
biggest criticism for Marvel? We don't do villains right.
Too colorful. Oh, too funny.
CGI, the first round in the trailers is never as good as the final
Because they
product.
haven't
There's-
finished the
No,
render.
the biggest issue with Marvel is 3 different Hulks.
Wait, it's only 2.
What? Didn't they have that guy and then Edward Norton and now they have
It
what's
was
his face?
Mark
No.
Ruffalo?
Yeah,
No,
that guy.
no. Eric Banner was the
Yeah,
that
the
was-
first
that was
one.
non-MCU
Yeah.
Hulk.
It's 3. There's 3, and look at that. We can't even agree on how many
No,
there
that's
are.
a fact.
It's the biggest
yeah,
criticism.
I think WandaVision is setting up Wanda as a
Yeah, that's cool.
Is there any
Villain.
comic book arc where Scarlet Witch is the bad guy?
No.
Maybe she's kind of an anti-villain sometimes because she does align with Magneto as she is his daughter and does some bad things. I don't think it's for very long.
Right, but she's never been like an arc in a like multi-comic series where she's like a
big
Thanos or the big bad.
I don't.
And the reason I bring that up is because Marvel has always been kind of not faithful to the fans, but like pulled from known comics. It would be kind of weird if all of a sudden they're like, well, we're putting this one out of our ass.
I don't think she's going to be like the traditional big bad. I don't think it's going to be for like the entirety of Phase 4. I think it's like almost think of like the Hulk arc, right? I mean the Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, Endgame, where it's like he transformed into this character. I think this is like the Wanda arc almost. Like she's going to go through this and be the villain and then like either die or become something else, essentially. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself.
Isn't she
going to
be in Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I think she's going to be the bad guy. In
So
Doctor
she's just going to be in everything
full
now?
on bad.
So she's in Spider-Man. She's in Doctor Strange. Can we get her in the new Venom movie?
Yeah, why not?
Can we get her in...
I just did it. I just cast her.
Can we put her in Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Scarlet Witch?
Yep.
That's the name of the movie.
She's got about like the Downey Jr. 15-minute type contract for that.
If
one.
Paul Rudd's going to come in and save the day, I think Scarlet Witch should be allowed to appear in the next Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, why
It's
not?
only fair.
I think she should appear in Captain.
Gardens.
Real quick, you said something about villains and Marvel not having good villains.
Yep.
Here's the thing. We know that there are good villains coming. Jonathan Majors is going to be playing the badass known as Kang, the time-traveling alien that was set originally on, New King Captain America because he was bad.
Before you continue, do we think Kang is involved in this little predicament?
No, because there's not been really any kind of time travel elements, and Kang's whole spiel is time travel.
Well, actually, it's interesting you mentioned Captain America, though, because the rumor that we've talked about on the show is Chris Evans might be coming back. Do we think that is a potential avenue that they're going to use him to introduce Kang?
But real quick, though, there has been time travel. It's just not the time travel we're used to. They're going through the decades. They started in the 50s, then they're in the 60s.
But that's an illusion. That's magic.
Yeah, but
that's not traditional time travel.
Isn't Kang an illusionist?
There's a line in the MCU in Phase 1 where Thor says magic and science are one and the same. So, time travel and magic are one and the same. You're welcome.
What are the bad guys that are coming?
There's a whole slew. I mean, there's also Christian Bale is playing the God Eater.
Yep.
Forget the character's name.
In Thor.
In Thor. So he's going to be a CGI mess.
Giancarlo Esposito is the Vegas odds-on favorite to play Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movie.
But he's Gus Fring. And he's also the other guy.
I really hope there's at least like a chicken reference when we see Doctor Doom. If that those odds and if it actually
or a Moff
happens.
Gideon, reference because he's Moff Gideon and it's
I'm hungry currently, so fried chicken.
Anyone else? Is that it? You named like 2.5 guys.
I'm just saying Jonathan Majors.
Yeah,
coming as Kang. That's all I really need. Everything else can suck for all I care.
I mean, Doctor Doom is like one of the most iconic Marvel villains of all time.
Too bad they can't nail a Fantastic Four movie.
Well,
how many times have they tried? 3?
Third time's the charm.
Or fourth movie.
Time. Wait, 4?
This would be the fourth. This would be the
I've
fourth.
only ever seen one Fantastic Four movie.
How many are there?
Too many. There's 3.
There's 3. Yeah, there's Fantastic 1 and 2 with Chris Evans playing the Torch or Human Torch.
One?
Yeah. There was a sequel to that, and then there was with Michael B. Jordan as the Torch.
Failed,
and that one also failed. So
yeah,
all pretty terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, last piece of news before we get out of here. A classic movie known as The Karate Kid starred or had Danny LaRusso played by
Ralph
Macchio. There was a possibility that Ralph Macchio was not going to be Danny LaRusso. In fact, a couple other actors, it appears, were looked at and even auditioned to play the character.
Yep, there's 3.
I'm going to name the 3, and I want you to tell me which one surprises you the most.
Because this is easy.
Charlie Sheen, Robert Downey Jr. Why can't I remember the last name?
It's because it's the most bizarre of the 3.
Nicolas Cage.
It's the winner of your question.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Here's a weird fact.
Yeah, this
Nicolas
is even weirder.
3 years younger than Ralph Macchio.
But he looks
I would never have guessed
older.
that. Like Nicolas Cage has always looked like he's at least 40 to me.
Yeah.
Even in his older movies, he looks like he is not a youthful guy.
Right.
Can you just imagine Daniel LaRusso, who's supposed to be 16, 17, at any age being played by Nick Cage?
So, like a lot of these pieces of news, like, Hollywood of old, right, where these casting calls, things have changed. Like The Office is another classic one where they've had so many different actors that played for, like Jim, for Jim's position or role. Now that we have like the technology to do deepfakes, when these things come out, somebody on the internet, that should be their job.
Yeah.
To like go back and like you could take Karate Kid, which is obviously full HD quality, so it shouldn't be as hard, and just, deepfake Nicolas Cage in there. I would love to
see what we get.
See what we get.
Yeah.
I think obviously
But present day Nick Cage.
looking
Not
back-
young.
Yes,
But
present day.
But looking back at it, they certainly nailed the casting, right? Like, I don't think anybody but Ralph Macchio could play Daniel LaRusso and it still be the same Karate Kid movie that we got, which spawned countless sequels and this amazing Cobra Kai TV show, which we also did a podcast on that you can check out. Cobra Kai Season 3.
You're full of plugs today.
podcast.
Yeah, seriously, you're
We'll
plugging
put a
just
link in
everything.
the description.
Will we?
Yeah, but I'm like, really? I don't want to do that.
Either way, I just want someone to start deepfaking all these like Hollywood what ifs.
Instagram has a whole deepfake section, it feels like. Every time I go and explore,
Mhm.
there's half of my feed is deepfake.
So, do you understand how the Explore feature works?
Don't expect.
It's just what things I look up, right?
Correct. So that means you've been looking up a lot of deepfakes.
So here's the thing. I haven't. But I clicked on one, and then I clicked on another
One
one.
too
and
many.
then it started just populating
That's what
all of
happens.
them.
Start here if you want to change your feed. Start looking up Star Trek
No.
and see that rabbit hole.
No.
The Voyage Home.
No.
Oh,
I hate
Uh,
Star Trek.
Well, of those actors, which of those three actors do you think could do a good enough job? Obviously, again, it wouldn't be the same Karate Kid.
Right, it'd
But-
be something completely
But
different.
who would you be most interested and intrigued to see, and who do you think could give you a obviously different but still entertaining Karate Kid?
Robert Downey Jr. Easy.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. But Robert Downey Jr. I think is a good one. Would have been a good one.
He would have been too twitchy.
Yeah. And it
Like,
would have been different.
super twitchy.
Honestly, all
It
three of those
would've
guys are
been-
very twitchy
It
actors.
would have been different. It would have been different, but I think it would have been really fun. Like Robert Downey Jr. when he was younger was good. It was good. He's good now. And I don't know how that would have affected though his trajectory in life, because obviously he went down a certain path. So maybe that we don't get Karate Kid 2.
Maybe we don't get Iron Man.
We don't get anything because But he would have been fun. All of them would have been fun, except Charlie Sheen, because that guy,
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan.
I'm Charlie Sheened out.
Yep.
He hasn't done like anything in years.
I know.
Yeah, his last great piece was 2.5 Men. Just kidding. That thing was terrible. I did not like that.
You didn't like when Ashton Kutcher.
Oh my god. All right, folks. I think we're gonna call it. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for jumping on the live stream. Like I said at the top, these podcasts are broadcasted live in full HD at 60 FPS on twitch.tv/wasitgood. You can find us on Twitter at wasitgood, on Instagram at wasitgoodbtm. We also have a website wasitgood.info, with a newsletter. TBD.
Krishna.
What?
Oh,
You had one job, bro.
what my one job?
Figure out the newsletter.
I just want to let people know before we say goodbye. I wrote in the outline between intro and Attack on Titan. How's it going?
Yes.
And it was blown by.
I know.
So that's all I want to say. Goodbye.
What a way to end a pod.
So I forget who told me about podcasts, or somebody was talking. And they were like, it might have been Brett or somebody else. Basically, they were like, when they listen to podcasts, and they were like, I don't give a fuck how the people are doing. Just talk about the fucking shit that I clicked on, you assholes. I was like, geez, okay. That's angry.
Brett.
Yeah.
I know your time is important to you, but
We are still live.
what?
Whoops.
Hey, Brett.
What do you want to do for social clips?
Yes.
None.
None?
No, I'm kidding. Actually, you know what would be fun? I think the little us guessing. I really like this Paul Rudd idea for. I know that's involved in nothing that we really spoke about. It was a total tangent, but
Paul Rudd being the surprise actor.
for One Division.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we can get it out like Thursday, should be good. Do you want to the question about like what's a good anime to get into? That's like a good general evergreen thing to clip as well.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, you know what would be a good one? Zeke being, this one obviously is spoiler, but Zeke being Levi saving,
double agent.
Yeah, and Levi saving him. I think that's a really good,
solid one.
It's tough because people who've read the manga probably know what happened with that, but obviously people who haven't are going to be just as confused.
I think there's a pretty big audience who have not read the manga.
Majority have not read it. Like I think it's the same as like when Game of Thrones was out there.
Yeah,
there was a big group that had read it.
Yeah,
but then they also made sure not to be spilling spoilers or whatever.
Well, also 3 of the 8 seasons were like just the creative minds of 2 guys that don't know how to make a show.
That's true as well. That is very true.
And like half of one of those 3 seasons was well received. Maybe.
Who?
Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Oh, that's what I forgot to add for our Wasn't News section.
What?
There is another, or we guess we could do it live now, on the non-pod. There is another Game of Thrones prequel series in development.
They're really avataring this up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Avatar hasn't come out with anything, so.
But Avatar has filmed 3 movies, I think, at the same time.
Sure. Till they're actually out, I don't believe they exist.
Oh, for some reason I thought you were referencing Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No, I meant the classic James Cameron. Because he's been. I don't know if you've been seeing the news. It's kind of interesting that it's avoided I wasn't news, but apparently they've been filming hard during this quarantine, and they've got.
Well, they wrapped on production like 3 months ago.
No,
they've been filming for years.
Yeah, and they're still
why
going.
I didn't put it.
And they're doing simultaneous. They're trying to Lord of the Rings it up.
They're trying to do well, but you know what's fascinating about the Lord of the Rings thing? So Viggo Mortensen said this a few years ago. I think like back when Green Book came out in around 2018. So they filmed for 2 years, 99 and 2000. They filmed the 3 movies. They wrapped and like, yeah, it's all done. Fellowship of the Ring comes out. It's a much bigger hit than they anticipated, right? So they didn't have a very high budget for the first 3 movies. If you remember, the first movie doesn't have any like huge action sequences that like need tons of extra. There's no war scenes in there. There's certainly some, big moments with the Balrog and, at the end with Boromir, but there's nothing like
there's no Helm's Deep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once they did that, they're like, oh, we have to basically reshoot the 2 Towers and Return of the King. Viggo Mortensen claims that they were so poorly like filmed that they would have been straight to VOD releases type of movies.
2 the second and third one?
Correct. They reshot most of those.
But
so
Fellowship was so good. Why would they have just
because the budget wasn't there, right? And they still had to do Helm's Deep and they still had to do these big battles, but they looked like shit because the budget was low.
Oh, so it was like copying and pasting to make the numbers.
Yeah, it would be like you and I and Ravi when we used to make our home videos doing it.
Nice.
But we never made a Fellowship.
I would have
watched
that
first.
Why didn't we ever do Lord of the Rings?
It was too big in scale.
Oh, so we did fucking Signs?
Yeah, that was easy.
Signs was we had to beat 3
maddening
each.
easy.
We also did Star Wars.
What's Star Wars? Yeah,
Wars.
That was a fake story.
Yeah,
I played Obi Kobe Bryant.
That was from my brilliant mind. First of all,
Obi
you're welcome.
Kobe Bryant. Oh,
and then you used Lord of the Rings music for my death scene.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Oh boy.
Remix
The copyright was,
We didn't care about copyright back then.
When Gandalf dies from the Balrog, that's the music he used for my death scene.
Damn.
I also showed Master Plota died, and I remember I cut specifically from episode 2 when the rocks are falling in on Yoda, but I cut it before he uses the Force to lift him up, so it looks like he just dies.
And on that note, goodbye.